الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد النبي الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه الطيبين الطاهرين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا ساميا معصوما. اللهم لا تجعل فينا شقيا ولا محروما ولا مطرودا ولا معذبا بنار برحمتك يا عزيز الغفار. ثم أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the best of understanding. The Prophet said, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fi din." If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want the goodness for you, He will give you the best of understanding in your religion, in your faith, which that will increase your love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make you close to Him. So nothing better than this. معنى الحديث من أعطي الفقه فقد أعطي الخير ومن حرم الفقه فقد حرم الخير. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the best of understanding, if Allah give you the fiqh, then He give you and granted for you all goodness. All, in other words, the source of goodness. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those as He praised and mentioned in the Quran, الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه أولئك الذين هداهم الله وأولئك هم أولو الألباب. آمين. على بركة الله, we'll open the floor for you. Yes, brother. He will give you the mic so others following in the Facebook, they can, hear.
Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to ask about the first is about Surah Al-Fatiha. Do we have to recite Surah Al-Fatiha when the Imam is also reciting Surah Al-Fatiha in Jahri?
Okay. The Surah Al-Fatiha, it's one of the pillars in Salah. And the Prophet said, لا صلاة لمن لم يقرأ بأم الكتاب. There is no Salah that is count if you don't recite al-Kitab, the mother of the book, which means Surah Al-Fatiha. So your Salah is not that count if you not reciting Surah Al-Fatiha. But is that for every individual, even if I'm praying behind the Imam? So, or only that apply when I'm praying for myself? According to the majority of the scholars, according to the opinion of the majority of the scholars, that you don't have to recite it if you're praying behind the Imam. And that hadith, they agree that it's authentic hadith, but they say that only when you're praying alone. So it's not like apply when somebody praying behind the Imam, because Imam, he would carry this and you don't have to worry about it. And was not narrated that from the action of the Rasulullah that he would give a time for people to recite for their own. And he didn't like it that people that will recite at the same time he's reciting. And there's a hadith about that, when after he concluded his salah, he turned to them and he said, Mali unaza bil Quran. Who was that one that who was reciting at the time I was reciting? So that's to support, not the main event, but to support their opinion. Imam Shafi'i, among those four Imams, he's the one, he said, the Ma'mum should recite it as well. But now I'm going to ask you a question. And even according to Imam Shafi'i, when you join the Salah late, and the Imam in the position of ruku', and if you were able to place your hand on your knees, that unit, that rak'ah is count. Is that right? Okay. So what usually you will do in order to catch the rak'ah, you make takbir al-ihram and you go straight for ruku'. And that is count. What is the Fatiha in this case? If it's must for you to have to recite it, you have to recite in every single rak'ah. Yes. What is that Fatiha now in your case? So again, even according to Imam Shafi'i, that salah is valid. If you just join the Imam at the ruku', that rak'ah is count. So again, you will realize the strength of the opinion of the majority of scholars. You don't have to recite it. And we have to understand those differences are there. And whenever you try to say, you know what, this rajih, this marjuh, this opinion is stronger than the other, it might somebody else will come and say, no, I think the other opinion is stronger than the other. And that should not be an issue. We should accept it. We should accept that, you know, those different opinions, as long as those opinions was supported by evidence and was not resulted because of, you know, a dispute with no basis. وليس كل خلاف جاء معتبرا إلا خلاف له حظ من النظر. So those differences are there and are acceptable if that was supported by evidence and by acceptable evidence, and we should not feel bad about it. Yes.
Thank you for that. One more question is the times of you know, Isha and Fajr, they're coming quite close together. The Isha is very late and Fajr is very early. So how do we manage that in a normal working week?
To be honest, we're still much better than those in Norway and those, you know, in the north of Europe, where in some times of the year they have only 3 hours, you know, between Maghrib and Fajr. And, you know, subhanAllah, even the days of fasting are very long for them. They fast up to 21 hours. In Ramadan, they pray Maghrib and they stay in a masjid as a community. And they pray Isha and Taraweeh, and they pray Fajr, and then they leave, you know, the masjid. It's a 3 hours, all of it, you know, at the time of you know, their iftar until sahur. So it's still not that bad. It's still reasonable. It's not that bad. However, for those that have conditions, like, you know, really they are too old or they have kind of sickness, you know, where they cannot wait until Isha, and there's no chance for them to wake up before Fajr. In this case, for those that have those conditions, they can combine Maghrib and Isha. So they pray Isha at the time of Maghrib out of necessity. So not that should be taken as the main rule that for everybody. No, for those, they have a darura, because I know some people, they it's hard for them to stay up because of, I said, like a special illness, you know, or they have a special condition, and at the same time they know by their experience, if they sleep after Maghrib, it's almost impossible they wake up before Fajr, because if they have a chance to wake up before Fajr, then they should not combine. They pray, because the Isha time is still permissible to pray in time, you know, before Fajr prayer. So if there's special some circumstances, the Jama', the Sunnah of Jama' can be applied. As mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari by Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that the Prophet combined the prayer without having, like, you know, heavy rain, and without as common like reasons that we know. So might be there's other reasons for that, why the Prophet combined the prayer. Okay.
We have a question on the Facebook from a brother who is asking about raising our hands every time. Do we have to raise our hands every time we say Allahu Akbar in the prayer? And I would add to this, raising hands during the Eid, Takbirat, and during the Janazah prayer. So the positions of raising hands.
It's Sunan al-Hay'a, it's just a Hay'a. you don't have to. None of the scholars said you have to. Some of them, they even not even consider. But yeah, it is, mandub, according to most of the scholars, that you raise your hand during the takbirat of janazah and takbirat of Salatul Eid. But definitely there's agreement that this is not a condition and it's not a must.
He was asking also about the prayer as well, like regular prayer.
In the prayer, okay, again, it's the saying of Allahu Akbar, it is the condition that's when you establish the prayer, when you start the prayer. And there are 10 conditions that are related to it. Has to be mu'araba Allahu Akbar and a minimum of mad al-tabi'i, and has to be with no addition of wow. So some people say Allahu wa Akbar, and it should not be extending the ba. So Akbar, it's a name of a drum, tabl. So you have to be careful the way how you pronounce it. So they mention condition, the scholars, of how you pronounce the Allahu Akbar. And none of them mention that it is a condition that to raise your hand. It's not a condition. Even at the beginning of the prayer, it's a hay'a min hayat salah. So when I say it's not a condition, it's not like, must, you have to. But is it recommended? Yes, definitely it is recommended that to do this, to raise your hand while, saying the takbir. Now, when you're making ruku' or you're standing up after ruku', do I have to raise my hand in this? Raf'ul yadayn. According to Imam Shafi'i, according to Imam Ahmad, according to many other Imams, yes, this is the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Even according to Imam Malik, when he mentioned that in his book of Muwatta, he narrated some hadith, about this. Other Imams, like Imam Abu Hanifa, for example, that was not confirmed to him that the Prophet did, that during the ruku' and after ruku', and that's not like, the action that is recommended according to Imam Abu Hanifa. So now, this is like, of a minor differences, I will say, among the scholars, how to perform, like salah. There are many of those, like, differences in there, and this is one of the minor things. If you ask me, is it authentic, those ahadith, and that I should apply in this? According to my opinion, you should do that. And I reach that, confident that the Prophet ﷺ did it, as, the narrations of a hadith. Now you choose not following some of the great Imams, that's acceptable as well. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tariq. My question is about sometimes you make the niyyah for tahajjud and on purpose you don't pray your witr. And whatever you do, put the alarm and stuff. And sometimes you would, in your sleep, turn off the alarm, and now you have missed your witr and you did not wake up for the tahajjud. So what is the best practice in this case?
If somebody, like in his heart or by his experience, has a chance that he might miss Fajr, I would say he should pray before he go to bed. Yes, the Prophet ﷺ said, it's better to make your witr is the last of your prayer. اجعلوا آخر صلاتكم من الليل وترا. And you want to practice this. But at the same time, you don't want to give a chance that you miss it. So my advice, that if there is a chance that maybe that night you are tired, or from your habit, if you sleep late, it's hard for you to wake up before Fajr to pray your salawat of tahajjud and then you pray your witr. No, secure your witr, pray before you go to bed. And if it's happened that you woke up, before Fajr, that's fine, totally fine. You still can pray as much as you want from any rak'at. However, do not pray second water. If you already have the first water before you go to bed, do not pray another water. Okay? Pray as much as you can from Qiyamul Layl, from Tahajjud, but do not repeat the Fajr, the water, because it was stated clearly that there is no two water in one night. And by the way, the Salatul Water, Rak'atul Water, and the 2 rak'ah before Fajr prayer, these among the rak'at the Prophet ﷺ that he insists to do it. He insists, like, and he really committed for that even when he's traveling. He would drop all other sunan and nawafil, all other voluntarily salawat, except this. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Is it wajib to say Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min adhabi jahannam wa adhabi al-qabr wa fitnat al-mahya wa fitnat al-masih ad-dajjal when you do the tashahhud?
Okay, to answer this, I will answer even with the general answer. All saying in salah, all saying, all the things that you have to say on salah, however, are sunan, except 3 that are must. Takbiratul Ihram, that the takbir at the beginning of the salah, saying Allahu Akbar, and reciting Al-Fatiha, and As-Salam, saying As-Salam.